There are rumors that have come up to the Hill of a secretive project within the Department of Defense involving the manipulation of human genetics with what is described as non-human genetic material, potentially for the enhancement of human capabilities, hybrids. With Immaculate Constellation, how does this relate to UAP activities, Mr. Shellenberger, in oceanic environments? Are there any instances where the Navy or other maritime forces have encountered UAPs that could not be explained by known technology or natural phenomena?
Yeah, the Immaculate Constellation covers both terrestrial and oceanic, and there's actually a number of cases described in the report that occur in the ocean.
And do you believe that there is a concerted effort by the Pentagon to keep Congress out of the loop regarding these UAP activities, specifically in our waters?
Yes.
Are there any accounts of UAPs emerging from or submerging into our water, which could indicate a base or presence beneath the ocean's surface?
I don't know about a base, but, as I mentioned, I had a different source entirely describe this pretty extraordinary footage that exists of orbs, of an orb coming out of the ocean and being met by another orb.
Representative Lauren Boebert has recently drawn national attention for her outspoken and direct approach during a 2-hour House Committee on Oversight and Accountability hearing titled Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena, Exposing the Truth. The hearing, held to address government transparency around unidentified aerial phenomena and related topics, included a panel of notable experts: retired Navy Rear Admiral Dr. Tim Gallaudet, former Department of Defense official Luis Elizondo, former NASA Associate Administrator of Space Policy Michael Gold, and journalist Michael Shellenberger. Boebert used her time at the hearing to challenge the panel on topics that, until recently, had remained largely outside mainstream political discourse. One of the more striking lines of questioning from Boebert concerned the existence of secret underwater alien bases and experimental government programs allegedly involving human genetic enhancement. She directly asked the panel whether the Department of Defense has been involved in any programs manipulating human genetics using non-human genetic material. This topic, often referred to by insiders as hybrid programs, has been whispered about for years in certain circles. Boebert's questioning brought it into the public spotlight, asking whether such experiments are real, ongoing, and being hidden from the public. According to Boebert, the American people deserve clarity. She emphasized that far too much information remains classified, and the public is being kept in the dark. Her statements resonated with a growing number of citizens who believe that government agencies have long concealed information related to advanced technologies and potential non-human entities. While some of the panel members acknowledged the long-standing rumors and anecdotal claims regarding hybrid experiments, none could confirm them directly. Still, the discussion prompted further speculation and a renewed push for openness. Boebert also focused her attention on reported underwater UAP activity. She asked the panel about various documented instances of mysterious craft being observed entering or exiting large bodies of water. These sightings, long discussed among Navy personnel and insiders, point to the possibility of underwater bases or a consistent non-human presence below the ocean surface. Boebert highlighted that these objects are often observed without visible propulsion systems and seem to defy known laws of physics. She asked the experts if such capabilities have ever been witnessed in oceanic UAPs and whether they challenge current understandings of engineering and physics. The panel responded by acknowledging that the oceans remain one of the least explored frontiers on Earth. Dr. Gallaudet and others stated that anomalies have indeed been observed underwater, including objects traveling at speeds that challenge our known technologies. However, the panel stopped short of confirming any specific details about underwater bases. They did agree, however, that the existence of such anomalies warrants further investigation and greater transparency from agencies tasked with tracking and studying these events. Boebert expressed frustration over what she described as a pattern of avoidance and secrecy. She noted that whenever credible accounts or data begin to emerge, there seems to be a coordinated effort to shut down the conversation or cast doubt on the witnesses. Many long-time observers of the UAP phenomenon have made similar claims, arguing that footage mysteriously disappears, key documents go missing, and whistleblowers are discouraged from speaking out. Her focus on the possibility of hybrid experiments and underwater UAP activity was particularly notable, because these are not topics typically raised in congressional hearings. For years, such ideas were relegated to speculative forums and documentaries. Boebert's decision to bring them to the halls of Congress marks a shift in the boundaries of acceptable political inquiry into unexplained phenomena. Throughout the hearing, Boebert remained insistent that the American public deserves answers. She argued that continued secrecy undermines public trust and restricts scientific progress. With each question, she reiterated that her goal was not to sensationalize, but to demand accountability and honesty. The idea that humans may have encountered technology far beyond our current understanding, whether in the skies or beneath the oceans, is one she believes deserves serious attention. The hearing's broader focus on transparency and disclosure suggests that Boebert's approach may gain traction with other lawmakers and investigators. As questions around UAPs continue to make their way into mainstream discussion, the boundaries between science fiction and potential science fact appear to be narrowing. What was once dismissed as speculative is now being formally debated in front of government officials, scientific advisors, and the general public. In closing, Boebert made it clear that she does not intend to back down. She affirmed her commitment to continuing the search for answers, particularly on issues that have long remained hidden. She pledged to continue asking hard questions and pressing for declassification of key materials. For her, and for many Americans increasingly interested in these matters, the pursuit of truth about unexplained phenomena is not just about curiosity. It is about ensuring transparency, accountability, and the right to know. Her bold stance and willingness to tackle complex and often controversial topics highlight the growing interest and concern among members of the public and elected officials alike. Whether future hearings will provide the clarity she and others seek remains to be seen, but her efforts have undeniably added momentum to the conversation. In a time when trust in institutions is fragile, the demand for answers regarding UAPs, hybrid programs, and underwater anomalies is only growing louder. In a remarkable event that has captured global attention, a series of photographs have recently surfaced online showing a glowing, unidentified flying object hovering above the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem during the night. The images, uploaded by several eyewitnesses, depict a bright, glowing orb floating silently over one of the most revered and significant religious sites in the world. This incident has sparked widespread discussion, with many questioning the nature of the sighting, while others speculate about its potential religious or extraterrestrial significance. The images, which have been shared on social media platforms and news outlets, are clear, vivid, and difficult to dismiss as ordinary objects or tricks of light, prompting renewed interest in the UFO phenomenon. The Dome of the Rock is one of the most iconic and sacred sites in the world, located in the heart of Jerusalem on the Temple Mount. It holds profound religious significance for Jews, Christians, and Muslims alike. Built in the late 7th century, it is one of the oldest surviving works of Islamic architecture and is regarded as the third holiest site in Islam. According to tradition, it is the spot where the Prophet Muhammad ascended to heaven during the night journey. Given the religious and historical significance of the Dome of the Rock, any unusual event that occurs in its vicinity inevitably draws attention. In this case, the appearance of a glowing UFO over the site has only heightened intrigue and speculation. The symbolism of a UFO hovering over such a spiritually charged location has led to various interpretations, some viewing it as a sign from above, while others see it as further evidence of extraterrestrial interest in humanity's most sacred places. What sets this sighting apart from many other UFO encounters is the clarity and detail of the photographs that have been uploaded. The images show a glowing orb of light hovering above the Dome of the Rock, seemingly stationary in the sky. The object emits a bright white light, which contrasts sharply against the dark night sky, making it easily visible. Eyewitnesses describe the UFO as being silent, with no noticeable movement or sound, adding to the mystery of its presence. Multiple angles of the UFO were captured by different individuals, all of whom uploaded their images to social media platforms like Twitter, Instagram, and Reddit. The consistency of these images, taken from various vantage points, has made it difficult to dismiss the sighting as a hoax or mere optical illusion. Furthermore, video footage of the event has also emerged, showing the glowing object hovering for several minutes before abruptly disappearing into the sky. The clarity of these photographs, is a key reason why this sighting has garnered so much attention. Unlike many other UFO sightings that are blurry or ambiguous, the images from Jerusalem provide a clear and detailed view of the object, making it harder for skeptics to dismiss the event as a simple misunderstanding or camera malfunction. This level of clarity has led some to claim that the photographs represent some of the best evidence of UFO activity in recent years. The public reaction to the glowing UFO sighting above the Dome of the Rock has been one of awe, curiosity, and, predictably, skepticism. Social media platforms were flooded with comments and discussions almost immediately after the images were uploaded. For many, the sighting is seen as a deeply spiritual or significant event, occurring at a location that holds great religious importance. Some individuals have interpreted the glowing orb as a divine sign, a message from the heavens, or even an indication of a miraculous event yet to come. For those who subscribe to religious interpretations, the timing and location of the sighting add a layer of symbolism that transcends ordinary UFO encounters. Others, however, see the sighting as further evidence of extraterrestrial involvement in human affairs. There has long been speculation that UFOs are drawn to sites of historical or religious significance, and the Dome of the Rock fits this pattern perfectly. In the minds of UFO enthusiasts and researchers, the sighting over Jerusalem could be interpreted as a sign that extraterrestrial beings are observing humanity, particularly in places that are key to our cultural and spiritual history. However, skepticism persists as well. Critics argue that the glowing object could be explained by more conventional means, such as a drone, aircraft, or an atmospheric anomaly. Some have suggested that the light could be a reflection or a result of camera artifacts, pointing to the prevalence of drones and other aerial devices in modern urban environments. Others have raised the possibility of a hoax, though the number of witnesses and the consistency of the images have made this explanation less likely. The glowing UFO above the Dome of the Rock is part of a broader trend of increased UFO sightings around the world in recent years. As governments, including the United States, have started to take the UFO phenomenon more seriously, releasing declassified reports and videos of encounters with unidentified aerial phenomena, public interest in the subject has surged. The Jerusalem sighting fits into this growing awareness and curiosity, fueling speculation about what UFOs truly represent. There is a long-standing history of UFO sightings near places of religious or historical importance. From ancient temples to modern-day monuments, UFOs have been reported in the skies above many significant sites. Some UFO researchers believe that these sightings suggest a connection between humanity's spiritual evolution and extraterrestrial activity, while others argue that these sites simply attract more attention, leading to more frequent reports of anomalous objects. The recent sighting of a glowing UFO hovering above the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem has renewed interest in the long history of UFO sightings in the region. Jerusalem, one of the most sacred cities in the world, has been the focal point of numerous historical, religious, and mysterious events. Over the years, there have been several reported UFO sightings above this ancient city, particularly near its holy sites. These sightings have captivated both UFO enthusiasts and skeptics alike, as the city's profound religious significance seems to amplify the intrigue surrounding these phenomena. The Dome of the Rock, in particular, has been the site of repeated UFO sightings. One of the most well-known incidents occurred in January 2011, when multiple witnesses reported seeing a bright, glowing object descend over the Dome of the Rock during the night. The event was captured on video from several different angles by various individuals, showing a small, luminous object hovering in the night sky. After hovering for a few moments above the holy site, the object shot upward at an incredible speed, disappearing into the sky. These videos quickly went viral and sparked widespread debate. The footage was analyzed and scrutinized by both believers and skeptics, with some arguing that the video showed a genuine UFO encounter, while others claimed it could be a cleverly crafted hoax or a misidentification of a man-made object such as a drone or an aircraft. Despite the controversy, the 2011 sighting remains one of the most discussed UFO encounters in recent history, particularly because of its location at one of the most significant religious sites in the world. Other reports of UFO sightings over Jerusalem date back even further. In the 1990s, there were sporadic claims of strange lights and objects seen moving across the sky, often near the Temple Mount and other holy sites. These reports were typically dismissed as atmospheric anomalies or misinterpretations of natural phenomena, but the persistence of such sightings has led some to question whether there is something unique about Jerusalem that attracts these unexplained objects. UFO sightings near places of religious and historical importance, like Jerusalem, carry a deeper level of significance for many people. The symbolism of these events is often interpreted in ways that transcend typical UFO encounters. For some, the appearance of strange objects in the skies above sacred locations is seen as a sign of divine intervention, as though these sightings are messages from a higher power. In a city as spiritually charged as Jerusalem, where Judaism, Christianity, and Islam converge, the idea that a UFO could have a religious or mystical meaning is particularly resonant. This theory is supported by accounts throughout history of strange celestial events near places of religious significance. Ancient texts, including the Bible, contain descriptions of unusual lights, objects, and phenomena in the sky, which were often interpreted as omens or divine signs. For example, the Star of Bethlehem in Christian tradition is sometimes viewed as a UFO-like event, and in Islamic tradition, there are references to celestial phenomena associated with the Prophet Muhammad's night journey, which took place at the Dome of the Rock. Given Jerusalem's status as a religious epicenter, it is not surprising that UFO sightings above the city spark such intense speculation. For believers, these sightings offer a tantalizing possibility that humanity is being observed by forces beyond our understanding, forces that may be linked to both extraterrestrial visitors and divine entities. These connections between the spiritual and the extraterrestrial add layers of meaning to the sightings, making them more than just a question of strange lights in the sky. Despite the compelling nature of these UFO sightings, there are many who remain skeptical of their significance, particularly regarding those that occur over Jerusalem. Skeptics argue that the city's cultural, religious, and political importance often leads people to interpret natural phenomena or man-made objects as something more mysterious. While skepticism is warranted, the repeated UFO sightings over Jerusalem still intrigue researchers and enthusiasts. The city's importance as a religious and historical site makes these sightings more compelling than those in less culturally significant areas. These events continue to push the boundaries of our understanding of UFOs and challenge the public to consider how the spiritual and the extraterrestrial might intersect. The clear and detailed nature of the most recent UFO sightings in Jerusalem, particularly the glowing object hovering above the Dome of the Rock, adds to the growing body of evidence suggesting that UFOs are not a new phenomenon, but a persistent one. Whether these sightings are explained as natural phenomena, advanced technology, or something more mysterious, they remain a central focus for UFO researchers and believers. Additionally, the fact that these sightings are occurring at one of the most sacred locations on Earth raises important questions about the possible significance of UFOs in human history. The stories of the Bible have captivated the imaginations of people for millennia, chronicling miraculous events, divine interventions, and mysterious encounters that have shaped religious thought for centuries. However, in recent years, some researchers and theorists have posed a provocative question. Could some of these biblical events, especially those involving celestial or divine beings, have been sightings of unidentified flying objects? Given the lack of scientific knowledge thousands of years ago, ancient people may not have had the tools or language to accurately interpret and describe such phenomena. Instead, they might have framed these experiences within their spiritual and religious belief systems, attributing them to gods or angels. This theory, while controversial, opens up an intriguing perspective on ancient encounters and how they may relate to the modern-day UFO phenomenon. Many biblical accounts involve the appearance of celestial beings or mysterious objects in the sky that are described in religious terms. The story of Ezekiel's vision, recorded in the Bible's Old Testament, has fascinated scholars and theologians for centuries. However, in recent decades, some have proposed an intriguing and unconventional interpretation of the prophet Ezekiel's experience, that he may have been witnessing a UFO. Described in the first chapter of the book of Ezekiel, the vision includes vivid imagery of strange, otherworldly figures, flying objects, and bright lights that defy natural explanation. Given the technological limitations and worldview of Ezekiel's time, it's possible that the prophet interpreted what he saw as a divine encounter rather than an extraterrestrial one. This theory, while controversial, presents a compelling reimagining of one of the Bible's most enigmatic passages and raises intriguing questions about how ancient people might have interpreted potential UFO sightings. Ezekiel was a prophet in ancient Israel during the Babylonian exile, around 600 BCE. In the opening chapter of the book of Ezekiel, he describes an astonishing vision while standing by the Kebar River in Babylon. According to Ezekiel, the heavens were opened, and he saw visions of God. He describes a powerful whirlwind coming out of the north, accompanied by a great cloud with fire, lightning, and a brightness around it. Out of this fiery spectacle emerged 4 living creatures, each with 4 faces and 4 wings. These creatures appeared human-like, but had faces of a man, lion, ox, and eagle. Beneath them were wheels within wheels, which moved in all directions without turning. The whole vision radiated an intense light, with the sound of the wings described as the noise of great waters, or the voice of the Almighty. This vision, rich in symbolism and detail, is traditionally understood in a religious context, representing a divine revelation or encounter with heavenly beings. However, modern interpreters, particularly those within the UFO research community, have suggested that Ezekiel's vision bears striking similarities to descriptions of UFO sightings and encounters with extraterrestrial entities in contemporary reports. One of the most frequently cited pieces of evidence supporting the UFO theory is Ezekiel's description of the wheels within wheels. According to Ezekiel, these wheels were capable of moving in any direction without turning and had rims full of eyes. This description has led some to propose that the wheels could represent a flying craft or vehicle, similar to the way modern UFO sightings often describe flying saucers or objects with rotating components. In modern interpretations, the eyes on the rims of the wheels might be interpreted as lights or windows on a spacecraft, akin to how UFOs are often described with glowing or flashing lights. Furthermore, the idea that the wheels could move in all directions without turning sounds reminiscent of the hovering multi-directional movement that has been observed in many UFO sightings over the years. The fact that Ezekiel repeatedly emphasizes the radiant light and fire associated with the vision also aligns with many UFO accounts, where witnesses describe bright, glowing objects in the sky. Another key element of Ezekiel's vision is the 4 living creatures he describes. These beings, with their 4 faces and wings, do not resemble anything from the natural world. Traditional religious interpretations view them as cherubim or angelic beings, representing the divine power and majesty of God. However, proponents of the UFO theory suggest that Ezekiel might have been describing extraterrestrial beings, creatures so foreign to human experience that they were unlike anything he had seen before. The combination of human and animal characteristics in these beings could be an attempt by Ezekiel to describe an alien form that defied human understanding. His description of their appearance and movement is vague and symbolic, potentially reflecting his limited vocabulary for describing something as unfamiliar as extraterrestrial life. If Ezekiel had indeed encountered beings from another world, it's reasonable to assume that he would interpret them within the religious framework of his time, seeing them as messengers from God or supernatural entities. Throughout Ezekiel's vision, there are repeated references to bright lights, fire, and intense sounds. The bright light and fire that accompany the vision could be seen as indicative of advanced technology rather than purely divine radiance. Modern UFO sightings frequently involve descriptions of glowing objects, often moving at high speeds or hovering silently in the sky. The light and fire described in Ezekiel's vision could correspond to the propulsion or energy systems of an extraterrestrial craft. Moreover, Ezekiel describes the noise of the wings of the creatures as sounding like great waters or the voice of the Almighty. This powerful sound might be analogous to the noise made by an advanced spacecraft. Some UFO sightings today describe loud humming, roaring, or other mechanical sounds emanating from unidentified objects. If Ezekiel encountered such a craft, the sound and brightness could have appeared to him as divine phenomena, especially given his cultural and religious background. While the UFO theory presents a captivating alternative to traditional interpretations of Ezekiel's vision, it remains speculative. Ezekiel lived in a time when the heavens and celestial phenomena were viewed through a deeply religious lens. Any extraordinary experience, especially one involving the sky or mysterious beings, would have been interpreted as divine rather than extraterrestrial. The challenge in analyzing Ezekiel's vision is the lack of contemporary vocabulary for describing advanced technology or extraterrestrial life. Furthermore, the symbolic nature of biblical texts makes it difficult to separate metaphor from literal description. The vision may have been purely metaphorical, representing spiritual truths rather than an actual physical encounter. For centuries, scholars have interpreted Ezekiel's vision as a powerful religious experience intended to convey the awe and mystery of divine presence.